We're the voices of experiencers, and we are the experiencers of extraterrestrials. Just what's out there in the abyss, in the darkness of the unknown. It's time for disclosure and it's time for truth, because what lies in the darkness brings powerful transformation. We're the bridge between two different worlds, with one foot in this reality and one in the next. The shift is here, along with profound integration. Just who are extraterrestrials and what are their plans? It's time to find out with the Voices of Contact.
We are the voices of experiencers because we are the experiencers. It's time for disclosure and it's time for truth, because truth brings powerful transformation. We are the voices of change. We are about evolution on an expansive level, living life without fear and becoming the bridge between two different realities. Profound evolution is here. Profound integration is here. This is the Voices of Contact. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary. I'm a channeler and psychic medium. I'm also a hypnosis regressionist for ET experiencers, and I work with MUFON doing regression work. I also work with PTSD experiencers, paranormal experiencers, and victims of crime to assist them in recall. I'm really looking forward to another amazing show tonight with our panel. I just want to say to you guys that the work that you're doing here with me is so impactful, like literally it's life-changing. And I thank you for being a part of it and being here with me. It means more than you realize to me as well as the listeners. So allow me to introduce some of my most favorite people. First, we have Deb and RJ DeRoos. They're authors, paranormal UFO researchers, and they're experiencers themselves. And they also are the founders of the Michigan UFO Contact that happens every year in Houghton Lake, Michigan at the end of September. They're owners and managers of Mystical Awakenings Radio, Mystical Awakening VODCAST on the YouTube channel, and at the Mystical Awakenings Metaphysical Store in Houghton Lake, Michigan. Last but definitely not least, we have our amazing new panelist, Deborah Jordan Cobble. She was the central figure in Bud Hopkins' international bestseller, Intruders, The Incredible Visitations at Copley Woods, which was actually made into a CBS miniseries in 1992. She's co-author of the book Abducted, The Story of the Intruders Continues, and author of Extraordinary Contact, Life Beyond Intruders. She's a former Indiana MUFON investigator and co-founder of her own paranormal group, Paranormal Underground, and host of the Midwest Paratalk podcast. With the amazing panel that we have tonight, I know that anything is possible. And we are going to get down deep into discovery and answers to what's actually really happening out there. This show is all about transmutating the light from the dark and replacing fear with knowledge. Through my regression work, I have come across amazing cases with some amazing clients. It is my passion to work with them and to help them have a better understanding of the contact they've had. Whether they were taken, have had contact in the physical realm, or through a dream state. I'm grateful that my clients have agreed to allow me to use the regressions on the Voices of Contact. Tonight, this is the place to be, because the panel breaks down the experiences, providing powerful feedback. I love it, because all the listeners get to learn and connect, and the person that I regressed walks away even more immersed in the experience with a new perspective on their contact. Literally, it's a win-win, right? This is the Voices of Contact.
Hi, everyone. How are you guys tonight?
Hi,
Nina.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Missed you guys.
Missed you too. Good to see everyone.
We love our gatherings.
What's everybody been up to?
Working.
Talking to UFOs.
Pulling weeds.
Pulling weeds.
Yeah.
And I'll say working. That's all I've been doing. That's all I do. Which I'm grateful for, but yeah, I need Michigan Marathon to come so I can have a vacation, because I don't work that. I just play at that one. So
it's coming.
Yay. I'm looking forward to it.
It's coming quick too.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting.
Yay. I'm ready.
All right. So for tonight's regression, I split it up. So we're going to play part of it this week and then the rest of the regression in next week's episode. But this one, he wanted to explore a time where he was a little kid and he was playing in his backyard. And he all of a sudden he sees it getting darker and he sees clouds that are moving closer to him. So I'll play this first clip here.
I'm outside. It's getting almost dusk. I'm in the backyard of my old house I used to live in growing up.
Are you young or old?
I look very young. I look to be a kid.
And so what happens?
I'm just sitting on the grass and I'm playing with some toys, and it's gotten a little dark, like a bunch of clouds started to come through. The sun was starting to go away from the clouds. It seems like the temperature dropped a couple degrees. Birds were flying ahead, but doesn't seem like nothing is there. I'm just sitting there and looking up at the sky, wondering why it's so dark all of a sudden.
Okay. So I want you to focus in on the sky. And you're going to be able to clearly see why it got dark so fast. And what do you notice?
I'm noticing a few clouds that are overhead. They seem to be getting closer, but also looks like they're getting darker and lighter at the same time. It feels almost like it looks almost like a fog, but it's not a fog. It just seems like it's getting closer.
And if it's not a fog, then what is it?
It looks almost like it's just a cloud hovering around literally a spaceship.
Yeah, literally a spaceship. I was thinking it seemed to be getting darker, but lighter. And I thought, well, maybe that's because there's solid mass inside that cloud. So that's blocking the sun. But as he's seeing it more, that solid mass is lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of makes me remember something that I had experienced when I was younger, actually like maybe 16 or 17, where I was in a vehicle with some friends, and it seemed like the vehicle was enveloped in some kind of cloud, and it was dark. So it made me think of that.
Did you have missing time with that?
I did. My memory of being pulled out of the car by my legs, and
Yikes.
the next thing I remember after that is we're all driving down the street, and then it's almost time for the sun to come up. It's almost time for my friend's mom and dad to get up. We had to hurry up and climb through the bedroom windows so they wouldn't see us sneaking in so late. or early, however you want to say it. Yeah.
Right.
And, I remembered seeing the light in the sky, but she actually went even farther when Bud asked about it. She said, "You mean the one in the sky or the one on the ground?" And I was like, what light on the ground?"
Yeah.
I didn't remember that part. So
So you really relate with what he's saying.
yeah, I relate to that. Right. Yeah. Listening to
Right.
it. And my mind is kind of going back to that 16, 17-year-old kid,
Yeah. Well, he seems to be younger than that.
Yeah.
doesn't he? And,
Yeah.
in the beginning, I thought, why would someone so young be so focused on the sky? But
Hey, I remember being on my swing set when I was 7 or 8 years old, and at night,
Mhm.
my mom would go out to burn the trash in the trash barrel out by the fence, so us kids would swing on the swing, and it's dark and you could see the stars. And I remember being outside looking at the stars and watching the
Mhm.
sky when I was, 7.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's born in us
Yeah, that's
experiencers.
true. That's true.
Well, we've got to understand too that they definitely use that technology to pretend they're in a cloud or it's foggy or something, so to hide themselves. Yeah. So
Right. You have to wonder if there was some kind of um, mind control. I've even thought of that with myself being little. Do they use something to make you focus or notice them? I don't know.
well,
I don't know.
yeah,
It's all
they
interesting.
definitely have technology that can do that. I mean, our own governments are using these machines that have frequencies that come out that subdue crowds and use some kind of it does something to you.
Well, if that were true, they need to use it.
They've been using it. Trust me. It's is it mind control? You can call it that, but is it like just putting you in a state that you won't freak out? Subduing you? Yeah,
I don't think little kids freak out as much as grown-ups do.
that's true.
Right.
They
That's
don't
true.
know. They don't know to freak out.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
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 They're in awe.
Yeah.
They're not questioning it. They're just watching.
So true.
We all know how I feel about mind control. I will not interject anything right now.
Yeah.
All
agree.
right. So
Now,
for this
Can I
next
ask
one-
something?
Yeah.
Is this the same person who channeled?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
I thought
same
so. I
one.
thought it was the same
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interesting to see this part of it. Okay.
So for this next one, the craft continues to get closer to him, and then like everything starts to get really, really silent around him.
Like it's using it as a disguise.
So you feel like it's a spaceship?
Yeah, it's definitely one. And you don't see it, you just feel that it's there.
Is that why it got darker?
Yeah, it got darker because the clouds started getting closer.
And so what happens next?
Everything got quiet, almost like a standstill. I'm not scared. I'm just trying to understand what I'm looking at. So I'm just kind of now laying down in the grass, just looking up because I'm just curious on everything happening.
Does it continue to get closer to you?
No, it's just there hovering, but doesn't seem like nothing's pulling me up or taking me, it just seems like everything's just on a standstill.
Okay. Well, would you like to move into the craft to find out why it's there?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
We can go in and see.
So on the count of 3, you're going to find yourself inside of the craft. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, sure, cut it off right when I'm like getting in there.
I know. I want to see.
Gotta have the suspense, right?
It was interesting.
Yeah.
It's
Right
very well done.
when you went to the clip, you said something about got quiet, and immediately I recognized that. Um, I've had that happen to me several times, and I've heard lots of other people who, when they're about to have something strange happen, whether it be a sighting or some kind of encounter or even some kind of paranormal thing, suddenly, like especially outside, I'll be out there and you'll be hearing like the crickets and all that, and all of a sudden, no, everything is gone. All the noise outside or wherever I'm at, the sound changes. It's like the whole air pressure around you shifts or something weird like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what I popped in my head when I was listening.
Yeah, like I was out hiking in the woods about a month ago and way out, and all of a sudden, nothing. And I could just feel something out there. But there was no sounds. And I videoed it. I was letting people hear nothing. And then I walked maybe 30 yards, and then you could hear the birds. You could hear insects. But yeah, it's weird. When you hear nothing, that's when you got to be afraid.
You're like, what?
When you hear nothing.
Well, I'm wondering, do you think that might be the point of, like we've talked in the past, where they turn you off? Because it seems like
Something.
physically we're still intact when that happens. When it goes quiet like that, physically we still, like with my experience, I knew my hands were frozen to the steering wheel, things like that. I knew physically I was there, but there was nothing. So I'm wondering if that might be the point where they like take your consciousness. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either.
Could be like the eye of the storm,
Hmm.
where everything gets really still.
Well, because in nature, they know when something's up that's not their normal, like crickets and such. They're not going to be, they're probably like,
Yeah.
be quiet, it won't notice us.
Or some kind of dimensional shift or time
I was
shift.
thinking that too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. Because, I mean, it was more than nature with my experience because, I had this intense buzzing over me.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, like I said, I was aware of the physical, but all of that was gone. There was no buzzing, no anything. And in my brain, I thought, okay, it's done. But that's when the missing time began. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Do I sound like a lunatic?
We all
Yeah.
sound like lunatics on
That's
that
true.
part of it.
Okay.
Lunatic Dad?
Well, he's going to see the ship, so I'm really, when you got to that point and then stopped it, it was like, oh, okay,
When she built
because
the suspense, and I was like, when the camera came back on me,
right, right, because I want to know, was he able to see this? And I know I have to wait for the next clip, but if he did, then that could have been the point of the missing time.
Mary, you need to write a screenplay because you know right where to put all the breaks. And stuff.
Dramatic pause,
Yeah.
She does. She
edge of your
does.
seat thing.
Yeah.
She's getting a little too good at doing that.
You gotta have the suspenseful drama.
True.
You're going to love, though, what he describes about the ship. It's definitely unique
So he
and
does see it.
interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
So for this next one, he goes onto the craft and he starts to describe what he sees for me. And now you're inside of the craft, and I'd like you to look around and describe what you see for me.
Oh, it almost looks like I'm in a whole different world. It's a very vast forest jungle looking place that I'm in. It feels very humid and hot, but it's cool from the water that's around.
There's water. There's water there.
I'm looking down and it looks like there's a really big pond or a very small lake. And all around are a bunch of trees and wildlife that looks so vast and thick, like not so easy to walk through. You hear animals, you hear birds, but they don't sound like normal birds. And the wildlife sounds almost like our wildlife, but it just all feels close. Like I'm being watched.
You feel like you're being watched?
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely being watched in all directions.
Okay. I'd like you to look around to see if you can tell who or what's watching you.
There's this weird looking panther-like creature that looks like a panther and moves like one, but it's not a panther. And it's kind of getting closer, coming from these weird bushes. It's eyeing me. And I know I don't have to be afraid, but I feel afraid.
How can you tell it's not a panther?
Because it's not black. It looks very metallic.
So the thing that he thought was a ship was really like was he on that looking into this other world, or did he just step through the portal that looked like a UFO and into another world?
This is the craft.
Inside the craft is a whole entire another world.
And as it continues on, it'll explain
Listen,
what kind of craft it is.
Yeah, there's a reason why Star Trek showed us holodeck technology.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
good point.
I mean, they showed us the flip phone back in the 60s. So,
And the iPads, they would walk through,
So there's a reason that holodeck, when you travel in space, you can program your own whatever you want. So
Yeah.
it might have been that holodeck.
And Mary, I don't know if anybody else can hear this or not. Maybe it's because I got my Marvel comic book supersonic headset on or whatever for my son. But as I'm listening to the recording, And I got it turned up pretty high because I can't hear that good sometimes anyway. I'm literally hearing on a lower level, like a whole bunch of voices talking
Hmm.
amongst themselves
Really?
behind. Yes, I'm hearing it with this in this headset. It sounds like a radio station with a bunch of different, like, you know how radio stations skip over each other? I'm
Yeah.
Mhm.
hearing it. I can't make out any words, but I can hear a lot of people talking.
Like somebody scanning, like going through the channels.
Sort of, but
Yeah.
not a flippity. It's more like a bunch of people in a big room
Oh wow.
all talking amongst themselves, but very low frequency. And I'm hearing this as I'm hearing him talk and you talk. I don't know. I've never heard that before when I'm listening, but man,
That's
these are
us
some
paying
damn good headphones. I'm gonna
attention.
have to go buy me some of
Well,
these.
I'm hearing something also every once in a while. I'm hearing this something in the background. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like people talking.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe you
Us
had
in a
company
different
in the room.
dimension recording this there.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but maybe you had a lot of company watching you or something. I don't know, but I'm hearing
Hey.
something.
Yeah.
Now you're
Anyway,
giving me the
sorry.
chills.
Nope, sorry. I'm
Oh,
still stuck back on the metallic looking
Yeah. A
flying light.
panther.
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
that's cool.
but it walked on four legs.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was hoping it walked on two because I could pull my Lyran card out again, a Lyra person, but the cat people. But well, it walked on four. So
This makes me wonder if it's something they created, like a robot type
yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
if it's whatever, something, yeah.
Well, sometimes too they, give overlays so that you're seeing something different than what's actually there.
They
So
should probably pick something a little more safe than a predatory animal.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay. So
Okay, I have to take care of a phone call, kind of an emergency. So
Oh,
I'm going to step away for a minute, let you
okay.
guys do your thing. Okay.
Okay.
can you get out here? Okay.
all right. So for this next one, yeah, he sees the panther, and he's scared and he's nervous because he knows it's a panther. But then he realizes like that he starts to have interaction with it, and
Okay.
you'll see what the panther does to try to get him to be more comfortable.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
So it's like shiny.
It's got a shine to it, but it doesn't look black. It looks almost iridescent, but it almost solid. Almost like it's switching in and out. And I'm trying to understand. It's hard to. It's changing shape.
Does it change? If it's changing shape, does it change into like a different form?
I feel like it's almost like you're watching a movie and there's like a glitch and it's trying to come through as a form, but it keeps switching very quickly as it's trying to form. And it doesn't feel like an animal anymore.
Would you like to ask it what it's doing there?
I asked it, and it's trying to figure out a form that would be suitable for me during the moment so I don't feel uncomfortable. But every time it tries to change into something, it seems like it's kind of making me afraid. So it keeps changing into something to try to make me comfortable.
Okay. So on the count of 3, we're going to allow it to change into something that makes you more comfortable. And it's going to change. 1, 2, 3. And did it change?
It's back to being a panther, but it's not all black. It looks almost like a very dark hunter's green color. It's not as large as it was. It's almost my size, like a smaller form. And it's bowing its head at me as a hello.
Now, are you more comfortable now?
Yeah, it was the stance that it was making while it was walking in, like it was going to attack me or looked at me as prey. But now that it's gotten smaller, I don't feel so afraid.
Okay. And so now I'd like you to ask what it's doing there.
It lives in this space, and it was curious to understand what I was and why I was there.
And what is
So
this space?
this is a ship, and it lives in that space in order to survive.
My first thought was that it was a hologram.
Yeah.
The animal.
Yeah, or some kind of AI technology or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, but hologram. That's I just wrote that down a while ago. Hologram. Yeah. So
Like, when Princess Leia projected out of R2D2 and it kind of
Mhm.
glitched like that and stuff.
yeah, it doesn't seem like it's biological, does it?
Mm.
Maybe
Not
it's
really.
yeah.
Definitely
Like
not
it
what it
turns
looked like.
into whatever it's trying to find something to make him more comfortable
Yeah.
with its presence there. But
So
the question is, what's behind that?
right, that's the thing.
Where's Oz? Where's the wizard?
Don't
Yeah,
look behind the curtain.
Right. Who's the guy behind the curtain? Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
yeah, I got the same feeling, Dana, that this is coming from somewhere else. That
Mm-hmm.
and Mary's smiling, so maybe that's the truth. But
She always smiles when we're onto something.
And it'll come out like with the next clip. We'll talk a little bit more about it, but then also the next episode, it'll talk all about what kind of craft this is. So
that's the key. It's a different kind of craft, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't got that one figured out yet. You still got me stumped.
I do like how it does try to make him feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about it, it's a little boy.
Yeah.
That's on this craft with this, scary beast that's coming towards it.
It's like, nice kitty, come here now.
Yeah.
You're in this place that doesn't look familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why pick a predatory animal again?
Yeah, I mean, unless
I mean, if they've studied us that much, they should know it should be like another child, maybe that comes out, or a teddy
Maybe at least
bear,
a bunny rabbit.
Or maybe they thought that was a kitty cat.
Maybe.
And-
I don't know. You both. My
cat.
kitty cat came in for this conversation, and he's nowhere that large. Nor does he shimmer. By the way.
yeah, that's true. Well, maybe he as a child really was fascinated with panthers or something. And
Could be.
they saw
Oh,
it on
that's true. I
TV.
didn't think about
Could
that.
Yeah, and he was, but you're fascinated till you meet one face to face. Yeah,
Fascination
Yeah.
turns to fear.
yeah.
I love giraffes, but the first time a big black tongue came down and licked me on the head, I about passed out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
giraffes have
I
big,
haven't done
giant
enough
black
living.
tongue.
I haven't had a.
Yeah, I know that they do. They're pretty scary.
I'm not right in the
picturing
head.
that big tongue coming and licking her in the
Oh.
I
head.
was like, oh, it's so cute. That's me.
Get him away.
All right. So this very last one is extremely interesting. So with this one, it talks about exactly what the Panthers doing on the craft, how it got there,
Mhm.
and what the whole point of being on the craft is about.
Okay.
It doesn't have a home anywhere but in that ship. That is its home.
Is there anything that lives on that ship with it?
There's a lot of life on that ship. Many different animals from different worlds. It's almost like reminds me of the story of Noah's Ark, but just lots of different forms of animals from many places. I get the sense and feel of a very vast, there's a lot from many places, further than what we would be capable of understanding.
Where did this panther live before he came to this ship?
It's showing me a world that the best way I can describe it is like almost like a Feywild look to it. And the planet looked like a giant jungle. All of it was mostly a jungle. And it's showing me all these volcanoes erupting. It's showing the world quaking. The whole world was starting to crumble. And in the sky, there's a lot of ships in the sky, and it's coming down and taking all of the life off of the world and leaving. And as the ships are leaving, and you look at the world, it's collapsing, and almost like there's a black hole in the middle of it, and it's just ripping it apart, and it's sinking into nothing.
Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
The holodeck is like Noah's Ark and snatched up a bunch of life forms and put it in a place where it's comfortable, but
Mhm.
it's really not home.
A flying zoo.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a rescue ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that makes sense.
That's why Noah's Ark was the first thing that came to mind. It was
Yeah.
rescuing. Cool.
It's definitely a
That's
different
pretty
take,
cool.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Mhm. But it makes sense too.
Yeah. The world's, and then hopefully, that's going on out there.
And they're repopulating other worlds with the old world whatevers. Perhaps. They're not
Mm-hmm.
just gonna fly around for infinity.
Right.
Or are they?
Yeah.
They're out there somewhere.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
sure.
wonder who they are. I wonder who they really are. That's cool. That's what I'm interested in. Will we find that out? Maybe.
You will. And in next week's episode, the Panther will actually reveal who he really is.
Oh wow.
Oh, yay.
So that will come out.
Cool.
Name isn't Aslan, is it? The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh, yeah.
Little different take on that story too.
Yeah. Well, so is that the last clip for this show?
That's the last clip.
Okay.
So now I can't wait to hear the other half.
Yeah,
know.
interesting. And
Maybe he'll recall seeing some woman getting her head licked by a giraffe.
Ah,
And you'll be like, oh, it was me.
He was there too.
ugh,
That's funny.
I know.
So we got to wait a week though.
Got to wait a whole week.
Bummer.
See exactly what the Panther actually is. And then in next week's episode, it'll talk about what's the purpose of this guy's being on this craft. And it'll delve into more of, the purpose of this craft and why, being shown all these planets and explain, why they're so invested
Okay.
into coming and saving the species of the planet and taking them somewhere else.
Cool.
Very good.
I can't wait, gang.
Yeah, me either.
All right. Well, that's all we have for tonight. So we'll catch everybody next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Deb will
Bye.
be back with us next week.
We're the voices of experiencers, and we are the experiencers of extraterrestrials. Just what's out there in the abyss, in the darkness of the unknown. It's time for disclosure and it's time for truth, because what lies in the darkness brings powerful transformation. We're the bridge between two different worlds, with one foot in this reality and one in the next. The shift is here, along with profound integration. Just who are extraterrestrials and what are their plans? It's time to find out with the Voices of Contact.